has officially been out for over 1 year now, which is crazy to say, but in that time, so much has changed in this game. So in today's video, we are talking about things you probably forgot about LEGO Fortnite. And guys, we have some crazy ones in this list that I honestly forgot about until I started doing research for this video. So leave a like on this video for LEGO Fortnite nostalgia, and also comment down below and let me know how many of these you guys forgot about. And don't lie down there. I know if you guys are lying, so yeah, be honest. Let me know how many of these things you guys remember and how many that you forgot. Either way though, let's get into this one. I hope you guys enjoy. And kicking our list off, this is actually one of the first things that the LEGO Fortnite team had to go in and hotfix as soon as the game dropped. And that's gonna be the item durability across the board in LEGO Fortnite, because if you guys played when the game came out, you'll know how bad the durability was on every single item. I mean, you'd make a pickaxe on LEGO Fortnite on day one and it would break by the time you would just harvest enough materials to even get the things to make another pickaxe. It was honestly ridiculous, and I cannot believe they launched the game in that state. Luckily, like I said, increasing durability across the board was one of the first big updates that LEGO Fortnite actually did. And off screen here, you can actually see the hotfix tweet that LEGO Fortnite status posted that still exists to this day. It was posted less than a week after the game came out, and yeah, they increased the durability of all weapons and tools by 30%. It was definitely a change in the right direction, but it wasn't the last change they did with durability. Maybe we'll talk about that one in a future video. But yeah, the first thing you might have forgotten about was just how bad the durability was. But while the durability was pretty bad, the next thing that you might have forgotten about was the fact that swords used to not take any damage when harvesting resources. Specifically trees, you could take swords and just slice down trees to your heart's content, get all of the wood in the world, and your sword wouldn't take a single point of damage. Again, if you've been watching my channel since the day that the game came out, that was something that I talked about a lot in my videos. It was my biggest tip to new players, because you could use the axe, which is the logical thing to do since axes are meant to cut down trees. But no, swords were just way too overpowered, and yeah, they didn't take any damage, so it was a no-brainer to use a sword to cut down trees when the game launched. Unfortunately, they eventually patched this. Otherwise, I think we would still probably all be using swords to this day. But hey, it was really fun when it lasted, and it was definitely useful for a lot of reasons, including the next thing that you might have forgot about, and it's the fact that there were only 24 inventory slots. For that reason, using something like a sword was useful, because then you wouldn't have to carry around an axe as well. But inventory slots all around were very, very limited. And like I said, 24 is insane, because if you didn't know, as the game stands right now with the new LEGO Fortnite Odyssey Storm Chasers update, we have 40 inventory slots, which is almost double what we had on launch. And in case you guys forgot about this one, it was brutal. You would play going from biome to biome, building up all of your villages for the first time, as everyone did when they started in LEGO Fortnite. The only problem was you had a lot of resource grinding to do, and you didn't have a lot of slots to do it with. And there was also really like no transportation at the game in the time, making it even harder to transfer things. You literally just had to glide around. But that was made very easy by the next thing that you might have forgot about, and that was the OG pickaxe glider method. And oh my goodness, guys, there's a lot of nostalgia going on. Drop a like if you haven't already, and let me know how many of these you have already kind of forgotten about. Maybe I just reminded you by bringing them up, or maybe you've never even heard of some of these. But the pickaxe glider method I hold near and dear to my heart. It was one of my favorite things in the entire game. And most recently, when I was in Denmark at LEGO headquarters, one of the things that I told the developers straight up was to bring the pickaxe glider method back, because I really don't think it was that bad of a glitch. Obviously, it was messing with the mechanics of the game, and it probably wasn't intended to be in there. But for those of you who are not familiar, the pickaxe glider method was essentially a method where you can move around the map by flying with just a pickaxe and a glider. You would do this by jumping off, swinging a pickaxe, pulling out your glider, 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 and you guys get the point. You would literally just do that forever. You're seeing it right here. You basically be able to fly for thousands and thousands of meters with minimal effort. And the way that I would do this most often back in the day was by building up as many staircases as I could, going up all the way to max height. And then, like I said, you could just swing a pickaxe and pull out your glider, and you would lose basically no stamina, allowing you to fly forever. And you would also hover very high in the air. Nowadays, if you try this, you could swing your pickaxe and glide once, and then when you pull out your pickaxe again and try to swing it, you'll just lose all of your momentum. You'll drop straight down, and then you'll go splat and probably die. When they removed that one from the game, I was very, very disappointed, because yeah, it was one of my favorite methods for traveling around. Now I actually have to get good and learn how to build cars and ships, which has been a work in progress, but we're working on it still. 2025, I swear I'm gonna be a master builder when it comes to cars and vehicles and yeah, just everything to do with the toy section, because right now your boy is kind of cooked, but I gotta figure it out next year. Anyway, and the next thing that I'm sure you guys maybe didn't forget about yet, but probably will, and it pains me that a lot of people will, and it's cheese. Guys, it's cheese. So if you didn't know, in the most recent Storm Chasers update, something very tragic happened in this game, and it's the fact that they nerfed cheese and demoted it all the way from an epic item in the game, so a purple rarity item, down to an uncommon green item, and that is just horrible. I mean, I don't know why they did that. I don't know how they could do that. Do they not know the impact that cheese has on their game? It's actually insane. Like, I actually just have no idea why they would ever do something like that. But seriously, I mean, look at this. This is the most beautiful Lego piece in existence, and unfortunately, they decided that it wasn't worthy of an epic rarity, and now it's uncommon. It's so much easier to find, and the elusiveness of cheese is... It still holds true. We're not abandoning cheese. Don't worry. Do not eat your cheese in game. It's still the best item. You can harness a lot of power just by holding it. But at the same time, just rest in peace to the purple cheese. Like, it's crazy that they would do that. It really is. Mind-blowing stuff. But anyway, that's just something you guys might forget about LEGO Fortnite. And yeah, rest in peace to cheese. Comment RIP cheese below, and let's continue. Moving on with this list, the next one is something that the LEGO Fortnite team is probably not too proud of. And honestly, it's unfortunate that I even have to bring this one up. But this video is about things you might have forgot. And this was a big part of the early history of LEGO Fortnite. And it was, of course, the high complexity warning that we all used to get on our screens when we build villages back in the day in LEGO Fortnite. And if you haven't played in a minute, let me tell you that since these times, the game has gotten much better with complexity and memory and just overall being able to hold more things in a confined area. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, when LEGO Fortnite released, there was a big issue with building, which is one of the key aspects of any LEGO product. You know, building and being as creative as you possibly can is one of the core elements of anything LEGO related. And it didn't stop when it came to this game. You were able to build awesome creations from day one, but unfortunately, if you put too much in a small area, you would get hit with this warning. And this warning would basically make it so you weren't able to build anything anymore. And yeah, that kind of just defeated the purpose of a lot of this game. Like I said, since then, it's gotten so much better. You barely notice it nowadays. My original world still gets some weird memory issues, but other than that, any new world that you start should be pretty good to go. Just be a little bit considerate of what pieces and how small or big they are when you're building new things. Because of course, at the end of the day, the less pieces you're using, the better it's going to be on the overall server memory. But yeah, the next thing that you might have forgot about is the high complexity warning. Glad we don't have that one anymore. But next up, we got a 2-in-1 for you guys, and they're two very inconvenient things that were in the game for a very long time as well. I mean, one of these just got patched in the most recent update for Storm Chasers, which is just crazy to me. But the 1-2 punch that I'm talking about is, first off, not being able to sleep through the night, and second off, not being able to use crafting benches or any other utility stations in the rain. So the first one we'll talk about is the one that got fixed earlier, which was of course sleeping through the night. They actually had an entire update dedicated to this. And this update was only about 6 months ago, so basically for the first 7 months of LEGO Fortnite, you could not sleep through the night, which is crazy for an open world survival game, at least in my opinion. I thought that sleep through night would be something that was there on launch, but another thing that you might have forgot about in a bonus one was the fact that very early on in the game, you could actually bypass the night by just backing out and rejoining into your world. You would always spawn in during the daytime. So while using your bed to sleep through the night is relatively new, you were able to do it with a little loophole, and I would always talk about it in my past videos, so shout out to you if you remember that. But anyway, like I said, this one was a 1-2 punch because there were two things you weren't able to do. We already covered sleeping through the night, but the other one was not being able to use crafting benches or any other benches during the rain. Again, this one was very painful, and it just got patched like last week with the update that just came out. So yeah, up until last week, we would have to do some very janky things in order to use our crafting benches, especially if you were early on in your gameplay and you didn't have something like an actual shelter to house your builds. You were up to the mercy of the weather. And yeah, if you were in a stormy environment, you were out of luck because you would have to constantly cover your things by just using floors and walls, and you know, it just wasn't fun. Literally, my village up until a few months ago was a bunch of staircases covering my benches because, like I said, early on in your progression, you're not gonna have buildings. And while this one wasn't the worst thing in the world, because it is easy to pop up something like a staircase, I think updating it was a very good call. And in the future, if you guys watch this video, it's definitely going to be something that you'll remember used to not be in the game, but now that it is, it's very convenient. And staying on the topic of crafting benches, another one that we talked to the developers about when we were in Denmark at LEGO HQ was the crafting bench upgrade pack. Now there's a lot of discussion about this one. Some people loved it, some people hated it, and there's a lot of people on the fence. But just to break it down in case you're unfamiliar, back when the game came out, there was a crafting bench upgrade path that you'd have to go through in order to have access to the recipes for the best tools and items in the game. So when you'd pop a crafting bench down, it would look very basic, and the recipes that it had inside of it were also very basic. But as you go ahead and upgrade it with different resources that you'd have to grind out for, you discover better and better recipes, leading up to a very aesthetically pleasing red and gold crafting bench that gave you the best recipes in the entire game. Like I just mentioned, there was a red and gold version of the crafting bench, but that mid-tier crafting bench was also green. So there were 3 distinct looking crafting benches that you were able to acquire, and they all look different aesthetically. That no longer exists. When you put down a crafting bench now, as long as you have some of the items discovered to get that recipe unlocked, it'll be unlocked, and there's no more progression with the crafting bench. Like I said, people are on the fence about this one, so let me know down in the comments if you guys enjoyed the old crafting bench or whether you prefer the new one. I personally really miss the way the old ones looked, but I do agree that the progression got a little bit old because every time you put a crafting bench down, you have to get all of the resources again. In my opinion, you should have to upgrade your first crafting bench, and then after that, every single one should be fully unlocked with the knowledge that you already have. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think. Anyway, the next thing that you guys may have forgotten about was a time before steering wheels. And yes, there was absolutely a time before steering wheels in LEGO Fortnite, and it was wild. The methods that people were using in order to turn their little toy hovercraft vehicles that they'd be making was insane, because not only were there no steering wheels, there were also no channels, so you weren't able to assign thrusters to individual channels to be able to only trigger them in certain instances. Everything would be triggered at the same time, regardless of whether you liked it or not, so people had to get pretty creative. And one of the ways that I remember people doing this the most was actually building on your platforms in order to weigh them down a certain way so they'd be able to turn. And obviously this would lead to some very major inconsistencies with vehicle builds. And then Mechanical Mayhem update came out and kind of changed everything. It was one of the first big updates that really addressed a big gap in the game, and since then there's been so many more updates just like this, but that was the first one. And let me tell you, it was wild times trying to build any sort of vehicle before this. I mean, just look at my channel back in the day. I spent an entire day making a monorail only to log in the next time after the video and it was completely broken. I built hovercrafts with the sole purpose of falling off of them and then hitting trick shots. It was just really fun, but also just a whole lot less that you can do in the game overall. And speaking of things in the game that were just a whole lot less, we got to talk about the overall inventory system. And we already said there were only 24 items when the game released, but that wasn't even the worst part. The worst part of the inventories when the game came out that you guys might have forgot about is the fact that items did not auto sort. It's insane to me that a game like this didn't consider putting auto sorting in from the start. And like I said, I feel okay roasting LEGO Fortnite for this now, considering that they've really made great changes all around and none of these issues exist anymore. It is just really fun to look back on some of these things that were definitely oversights on their side. And I think auto sorting was definitely one of those things, because how in the world did they not have it? If you don't know what I'm talking about. So to give a very simple example of this, back in the day, if there were 2 stacks of 5 wood on the floor, if I picked up one and then picked up the other, they would not stack for 10 wood in one slot. They would be 2 different inventory slots that would both be 5 wood. Here's a clip from a year ago of me reacting to when they finally changed this. But again, 2 weeks into this game's life, and it seems like the LEGO Fortnite team behind this game really understands what the players want, and they're making all the right judgment calls. So another big W in the chat for them. Thank you, LEGO Fortnite. And the thing that you heard me say at the end of the clip there still holds very true, and that gives me a lot of hope for the future of this game as well, because between then and now, all of these things that you might have forgot about have been fixed for the better, and that's a great sign for LEGO Fortnite. And guys, if you watched all the way until the end, let me know how you guys enjoyed this video. It's obviously a different kind of concept, but it is fun to look back after a year of this game being out and just see how much has changed, and also how much that you guys might have forgot about. The nostalgia in this game is getting real, and if there's anything that you think I missed in this video, let me know down in the comments so I can make a part 2. It'd be really cool to see this video do well, so if you enjoyed it, drop a like. Let's try to hit 3K likes. That would be insane. Also subscribe. We're getting so close to 1 million, and there's not a lot of time left if you want to say you were here before 1 million. But it's been your boy Kaz. Thank you so much for watching all the way until the end of this one. I hope you guys enjoy your New Year, stay safe, and I will catch y'all in the next video. Peace.